trick or treating anymore. Halloween is Dad's favorite holiday too, but for a different reason. On holiday night, while all the other parents are handing out candy, Dad is hiding in the bushes with a big trash can full of water. And if any teenager passes by our driveway, he drinks them. Yeah, I'm not sure Dad really understands the concept of Halloween, but I'm not going to be the one who spoils his fun. Trick or treat. Tonight was the opening night of Crossland High School Haunted House, and I got Mom to agree to take me and Raleigh. Rowley showed up at my house wearing his Halloween costume from last year. When I called him earlier, I told him to just wear regular clothes. But of course he didn't listen.
Come on.
Yeah. I tried not to let it bother me too much, though I've never been allowed to go to the Crossland Haunted House before, and I wasn't going to let Rowley ruin it for me.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم
Alaikum
السلام.
Salam, hi, Hamdan.
Sorry, I'm late. I was just fixing the internet, so it wasn't working.
It's okay, love.
Roderick has told me all about it, and I've been looking forward to this for about 3 years. Anyway, when we got to the entrance, I started having second thoughts about going in. Good evening.
His mom was with him.
Yeah. But Mom seemed like she was in a hurry to get this over with, and she moved us along. Once we were through the gate, it was one scare after another. There were vampires. There were vampires jumping out at you, and people without heads, and all sort of crazy stuff. But but
What
the
is this place
first
called again? What is this place called?
The haunted house.
Haunted house.
no, it had a name. It was something called High School something. Up,
Uh,
up.
Crossland haunted house. Crossland, I think, is the high school name.
Yeah. But the worst part was the area called Chainsaw Alley. There was this big guy in a hockey mask, and he had a real chainsaw. Roderick told me the chainsaw has a rubber blade, but I wasn't taking any chances. Right when it looked like the chainsaw was going to catch us, Mom stopped in and bailed us out. That's not nice. I'm sorry, Mom.
That's not how it works.
Mom made the chainsaw guy show us where the exit was. And that was the end of our haunted house experience right there. I guess it was a little embarrassing when Mom did that, but I'm willing to let it go this one time.
Okay. Marcus, can you read?
Saturday. The Crossland Haunted House really got me thinking. Those guys were charging $5 a pop, and the line stretched halfway around the school. I decided to make a haunted house of my own. Actually, I had to bring Rowley in on the deal because Mom wouldn't let me convert our first floor into a full-out haunted mansion. I knew Rowley's dad wouldn't be crazy about the idea either, so we decided to build the haunted house in his basement and just not mention it to his parents. Me and Rowley spent most of the day coming up with an awesome plan for our haunted house. Here was our final plan. Hall of Screams, Lake of Blood, Bottomless Pit, Rat Tunnel, Maze of 1000 Skulls, Knife Alley, uh, Hand Hall, Death Slide, Acid Lake, Exit.
Acid Lake.
Acid Lake.
I have one question. Where will you get all this stuff?
And it won't fit in the basement.
Yes.
I don't mean to brag or anything, but what we came up with was way better than the Crossland High School haunted house. We realized we were gonna need to get the word out that we were doing this thing. So we got some paper and made up a bunch of flyers.
Idiom alert, idiom alert. Idiom alert.
What?
We got some
Get the
paper
word
on it.
out.
Made up a bunch of flyers
Oh.
to get the word,
Like spread the word or
Yes,
like
very good.
get the permission.
yes, spread the word.
I'll admit maybe we searched the truth a little in our advertisement, but we had to make sure people actually showed up. Haunted house, ouch, with live sharks.
Seriously?
32 30 Street, admission $50, 3
30
p.m.
cents, 50 cents.
That's $50, right?
Yes.
Yes.
By the
They
time we
did
finished, by the time we finished putting the flyers up around the neighborhood and got back to Rowley's basement, it was already 2:30, and we hadn't even started putting the actual haunted house together yet. So we had to cut some corners from our original plan. When 3 rolled around, we looked outside to see if anyone had showed up, and sure enough, there were about 20 neighborhood kids waiting in the line outside Rowley's basement. Now I know our flyers.
It worked for them.
What, mister?
So it worked for them.
Yes,
Yes.
it worked.
Now I know our flyers said admission was 50 cents, but I could see that we had a chance to make a killing here. So I told the kids that admissions were $2 and the 50 cent was just a typo.
What's a typo?
Typo means like typing error.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The first kid to cough up with his $2 was Shane Snella. He paid his money and we let him inside. And me and Rowley took our positions in the Hall of Screams. The Hall of Screams was basically a bed with me and Rowley on either side of it.
I'm scared.
I guess maybe we made the Hall of Screams a little too scary because halfway through, Shane curled up in a ball underneath the bed. We tried to get him to crawl out from under there, but he wouldn't budge. What does budge mean?
He
He
wouldn't.
wouldn't listen or he wouldn't move.
Move.
Yes.
I started thinking about all the money we were losing with this kid clogging up the Hall of Screams, and I knew we had to get him out of there quick. Eventually, Rowley's dad came downstairs. At first, I was happy to see him because I thought he could help us drag Shane out from under the bed and get our haunted house cracking again. But Rowley's dad wasn't really in a helpful mood. Rowley's dad wanted to know what we were doing and why Shane Snella was curled up under the bed. We told him that the basement was the haunted house and that Shane actually paid for us to do this to him. But Rowley's dad didn't believe us. I admit that if you looked around, it really looked like a haunted house. All we had time to put together was the howl screams and the lake of blood, which was the Rowley's old baby pool with half bottle of ketchup in it. I tried to show Rowley's dad our original plan to prove that we really were running a legitimate operation, but he still didn't seem convinced. And to make a long story short, that was the end of our haunted house.
You kicked him out.
The good news is, since Riley's dad didn't believe us, he didn't make us refund Shane's money. So at least we cleared $2 a day. Sunday.
Okay.
I continue.
Can you stop? Muhammad Aqil, can you read?
Yes. Sunday. Rowley ended up getting grounded for that whole haunted house mess yesterday. He's not allowed to watch TV for a week, and he's not allowed to have me over at his house during that time. Go down, please. That last part really isn't fair because that's punishing me, and I didn't even do anything wrong. Now, where am I supposed to play my video games? Anyway, I felt kind of bad for Rowley, so tonight I tried to make it up to him. I turned one of Rowley's favorite TV shows, and I did play over the phone, so he could kind of experience it that way.
Wow, look at the size of flamethrower.
Oh yeah, never mind. I did my best to keep up with what was going on the screen, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure if Rowley was getting the full effect. I bet this part is gonna be funny. Whoop, haha, I was right, it was funny. Tuesday. When Rowley's grounded is finally over, Rowley's grounding is finally over, and just in time for Halloween too. I went up to his house to check out his costume, and I have to admit, I'm a little jealous. Rowley's mom got him this night costume that is way cooler than his costume from last year. His night outfit came with a helmet and a shield, and a real sword and everything.
That's not a real sword.
It is. I've never had a store-bought costume before. I still haven't figured out what I'm gonna go as tomorrow night. So I'd probably just throw something together at the last minute. I figure maybe I'll bring back the toilet paper mummy again. But I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow night, so that might not be the smartest choice.
This is called the budget costume.
Not anymore, because toilet paper is expensive.
Yes.
In the past few years, the grown-ups in my neighborhood have been getting cranky about my lame costumes, and I'm starting to think it's actually having an effect on the amount of candy I'm bringing in. What are these supposed to be? A cowboy, double baseball hats. But I don't really have time to put together a good costume because I'm in charge of planning out the best route for me and Rowley to take tomorrow night. This year, I've come up with a plan that'll get us at least twice the candy we scored last year. Halloween. About an hour before we were supposed to start trick-or-treating, I still didn't have a costume at that point. I was seriously thinking about going as a cowboy for the second year in a row. But Mom knocked at my door and handed me a pirate costume with an eye patch and a hook and everything. Rowley showed up around 6:30 wearing his night costume, but I didn't look anything like I looked yesterday. Rowley's mom made all these safety improvements to it, and you couldn't tell what he was supposed to be anymore. She cut out a big hole in front of the helmet so he could see better and covered him up in all this reflective tape. She made him wear his winter coat underneath everything, and she replaced his sword with a glow stick. Okay. I grabbed my pillowcase, and me and Rowley started to head out. But Mom stopped us before we could get out the door. I want you to take Manny with you.
That mustache.
Man, I should have known there was a catch when Mom gave me that costume. I told Mom there was no way we were taking Manny with us because we were going to hit 152 houses in 3 hours, and plus we were going to be on a snake road, which is way too dangerous for a little kid like Manny. I should never have mentioned the last part because the next thing I knew, Mom was telling Dad that he had to go along with us to make sure we didn't step foot outside our neighborhood. Dad tried to squirm out of it, but once Mom makes up her mind, there's no way you can change it.
They're both pirates.
Yes. Before we even got out of our own driveway, we ran into our neighborhood, Mr. Mitchell and his kid Jeremy. So of course they tagged along with us. Mary and Jeremy wouldn't trick or treat at any houses with spooky decorations on them. So Dad ruled out pretty much every house on our block. Dad and Mr. Mitchell started talking about football or something, and every time one of them wanted to make a point, they'd stop walking. Blah, blah, blah. So we were hitting only about one house every 20 minutes. After a couple of hours, Dad and Mr. Mitchell took the little kid home. I was glad because that meant me and Rowley could take off. My pillowcase was almost empty, so I wanted to make up as much time as possible. Okay. A little while later, Rowley told me he needed a potty break. I made him hold off for another 45 minutes, but by the time we got to my grandma's house, it was pretty clear that if I didn't let Rowley use the bathroom, it was gonna get messy. So I told Rowley, if he wasn't back outside in 1 minute, I was gonna start helping myself to his candy.
But he needs to take off all the layers.
Yes. After that, we headed back out on the road, but it was nearly 10:30, and I guess that's when most grown-ups decide Halloween is over. You can kind of tell because that's when they start coming to the door in their pajamas and giving you the evil eye. We decided to head home. We made a lot of time after Dad and Manny left. So I was pretty satisfied with how much candy we took in. When we were halfway home, this pickup truck came rolling down the street with a bunch of high school kids in it. The kid in the back was holding a fire extinguisher, and when the truck passed by, he opened fire. I have to give Rowley credit because he blocked about 95% of the water with his shield, and if he hadn't done that, all our candy would have gotten soaked. When the truck drove away, I yelled out something. Then I regretted about 2 seconds later. We're calling the cops. The driver slammed on the brakes and he turned his truck around. Me and Raleigh started running, but those guys were right on our heels. The only place I could think of that was safe was Grandma's house, so we cut through a couple of backyards to get there. Grandma was in bed already, but I know she keeps a key under the mat on her front porch. Once we got inside, I looked out the window to see if those guys had followed us, and sure enough, they did. I tried to trick them into leaving, but they wouldn't budge.
He used the same word. He used
Yes.
it again. Well, I guess now that we're safe in our own house, you can't get us.
Muhammad, how about someone else read, because I've been reading from.
What's that, Muhammad? What's wrong?
I said, what? How about someone else read, because I've been reading for a long time.
Starting out, everybody reads by day.
Because your what, Muhammad? Sorry, your voice is cutting off.
I said, how about someone else reads, because I've been reading for a long time.
Yes.
So it's okay. It's okay. Yahya hasn't read. Has he?
Yes,
I don't
yes,
know.
I can read. After a while, we realized.
Hi.
teenage-
Hi, Abdulillah.
My
Who's
brother.
this? Ah, your brother. Okay.
Can I read?
Can I read?
Who's this?
I
Abdulillah.
don't know.
That's Muhammad's brother.
Okay.
Yes, he's my brother. He's been joining us since yesterday.
Hmm.
Yahya, you can read.
I don't see his.
No,
okay.
he's sitting next to me. He's sitting next.
Next to you. Okay.
Yahya, you can read.
After a while, we realized the teenagers were going to wait us out. So we decided we were just going to have to spend the night at Grandma's. That were when we started getting cocky, making monkey noises at the teenager and what not. Well, at least I was making monkey noises. Ronnie was kind of making our noises, but I guess it was the same general idea. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, ooh. Why is he making an owl? Okay. I called mom to tell her we're going to crash at Grandma's for the night. But mom sounded really mad on the phone. She said it was a school night and we had to get home right this instant. So that meant we were going to have to make a run for it. I looked out the window and this time I didn't see the truck. But I knew those guys were hiding somewhere and were trying to draw us out. So we snuck out of the back door, hopped over Grandma's fence, and ran all the way to Snake Road. I figured our chances were better there because there aren't any street lights. Snake Road is scary enough on it without having a truckload of teenagers hunting you down. Every time we saw a car coming, we drove into the bushes. It must take us half an hour to go 100 yards. But believe it or not, we made it all the way to home without getting caught. Neither one of us let our guard down until we got to my driveway.
Yeah, can you read a bit slower, please?
Okay. But right then, there was this awful scream, and we saw a big wave of water coming towards us. Splash.
His candy is gone.
Yeah. Well, man, I forgot about that, and we totally paid the price for it. Whoops. When we and Rowley got inside, we laid out all our candy in the kitchen table. The only things we could salvage were a couple of mints that were wrapped in a cellophane, and the brushes Dr. Garrison gave us. 10 brushes.
What
Then I-
dentists give toothbrushes on Halloween?
Yeah, it's classic. I think next Halloween I'll just stay home and move some butterfingers from the wall Mom keeps on top of the refrigerator. November, Thursday. On the bus ride to school today, we passed by Grandma's house. It got rolled with toilet paper right last night, which I guess was no big
What?
surprise.
Wait. Oh no.
It was 100. No, more. Maybe 50.
Back, I guess back. No, sorry.
No, it's horrible. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button.
It's okay.
Yes.
Stop.
Stop back. Yes, sir. November, Thursday. On the bus ride into school today, we passed by Grandma's house. It got rolled with toilet paper last night, which I guess was no big surprise. I do feel a little bad because it looked like it was going to take a long time to clean up. But on the
I think if they did
bright
that now, the grandma would be glad. She would be
but on the bright
Yeah.
side, Mr. Omar, it's okay if I leave. I have something to do.
Guys, I'll be away for a couple of minutes, right? I'll have to make a phone call. Meanwhile, Marwan and Iyad and Jannah are with you, right?
Okay.
What were you saying, Yahya?
No, I'm saying I have to leave now. Sorry, I have halaqa.
Okay, I think you can leave.
Yes, if it's okay.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
See you.
Run.
I have a
Okay.
special person he wants to read.
Okay.
Can you approve that?
Yes. Is it your brother?
Yes, it's my brother.
Okay, it's okay. Let him read.
I do feel a little bad because it looks like it was gonna take a long time to clean up. But on the bright side, Grandma is retired. The
Probably.
so she
Well done, Aboudi. Well done. I love you.
didn't have anything planned for today anyway. Wednesday in third period, Mr. Underwood, our PE teacher, announced the boys will be doing a wrestling unit for the next 6 weeks.
Thank you, Adela. Amazing.
Wow, amazing. Mr. Amar, by the way, Yahya left. He said he had halaqa.
Yes, halaqa.
So actually,
Are you with us?
I don't know. We need to arrange with Yahya about the time of al-halaqa.
About to make it after Futur, Mr.
After Futur, the internet connection is rubbish, Muhammad. I'm afraid my internet connection is not very good.
Okay, how about you just leave it on the same classes, but I don't think not everyone is awake at that time, right?
Yeah. I think
24/7.
5:15 is better until 6.
I don't know, but let's make it 5. If Yahya's, we are gonna have to arrange with him. If his teacher comes at this time, for example, let's make our class 5 at 5, for example.
Mister, at 5 exactly, you still have We're still in our fourth class.
Okay, today is the last day.
Tomorrow, yes.
What?
So starting
Today is the last day. It's not Thursday.
No, Thursday.
today is today, what day is it today?
Wednesday.
So tomorrow is the last day.
Yes.
So
Finally, I can sleep.
it shouldn't be a big problem. You can join at 5. We're gonna have to arrange with Yahya and sort out the time.
So tomorrow we're gonna have it at 5:15, right?
Yeah, 5:15 the same time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your participation, everybody.
We're done.
I think so, yes. Are we not?
Yeah, right. Would you like to finish it now?
It's okay. I can. We can go on if you like.
No. Let's continue tomorrow, inshallah. Right. So see you at the same.
Okay.
Please, guys.
Okay, bye.
Right. And I want to make tomorrow's class. Sorry, because I was a bit distracted today. I want to make the class a bit lively tomorrow, if you can.